Hi guys, I'm back for another video. I'm sorry that I didn't get a chance to put one up on Friday like I had planned to, but I ended up having to work and run errands, and then I ended up working all weekend, so here we are. So today I thought I would do a little kind of book review and just let you guys know some of the books that I have read that I really enjoyed and certain authors and such, and so yeah. The first one is Maximum Ride the Series by John Patterson. It has 8 or 9 books. I don't really remember. I read them quite a few years back. There's actually a new one coming out, which is kind of cool. It comes out in January of 2015. It's a really cool book about these 98% human, 2% bird avian hybrids and their adventures of trying to not get caught by the school that created them and, you know, saving the world and such. Yeah, so they're not too long. This one is a little over 400 pages. I think they're all about average that, but yeah, they're a really great book and I really suggest going to check them out. Next is actually an author I really like, Sarah Dessen. This is the only book of hers that I actually own, The Moon and More, but she has other really great books. Does it list any? Yeah. What Happened to Goodbye, Along for the Ride, Lock and Key, Just Listen, Dreamland. She has tons of books. They're really good. They are very much teen romance drama novels though. So if that's kind of what you're into, I think pretty much all of them have something to do with, they're all a love story, I believe. Next, I'm sure you have heard of these books. Paper Towns and Looking for Alaska by John Green. I've also read The Fault in Our Stars and Abundance of Catherine's, and yeah, these two. I've not yet read Will Grayson. I've been meaning to, but it's never at the library. These are both really great books. They're all pretty good books. I really enjoy them. I think my favorite might be Looking for Alaska. I know The Fault in Our Stars is really popular, but I think Looking for Alaska might be my favorite. So if you haven't already, go check them out. Okay, next we have the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. This is actually the 4th one in the series, City of Fallen Angels. I don't own them, so I'm currently borrowing this one. And I've read through the first 3, working on this one. They are a great series. You guys might have heard of the movie, or seen the movie that came out, God, what was it, a year ago, I think? So yeah, they're a really great book series. They are about people called shadow hunters. They are demon fighters, essentially, and there's a pretty big love story, lots of plot twists. Very cool. Go check it out. Next is If You Find Me by Emily Murdoch. It was a book that I picked up just kind of randomly at the library and ended up really liking it. It was very different from anything I'd ever read before, and I really enjoyed it. You know, essentially, it's about this 15-year-old girl who has been living in the woods pretty much her entire life. In this camper with her mom and her sister, and eventually her mom gives up their location and her and her sister are found and they have to be reintegrated into society after living in, you know, this camper for so long. And it's just really interesting. Definitely not what I expected, but very, very enjoyable, and I highly suggest it. Next is 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. My bad. So this book has actually been out for a while, and I know a lot of you have probably heard of it or read it. I did not read it right away. I'd kind of heard about it and I was kind of like, meh about it, but then I picked it up at the library and oh my god, is this a good book. Wow, it's kind of indescribable actually. It definitely makes you kind of look at life a little bit differently, which I love that in a book, if it makes me think about something or look at something differently. If you haven't heard of it, it's basically about this girl named Hannah had killed herself, and she recorded on little cassette tapes the 13 reasons why she killed herself. And the tapes are meant to be passed around because each of the reasons is a person, and the tapes are meant to be passed around to a certain person, and it is telling the story of one of the guys, Clay, who is listening to these tapes. So yeah, it's very suspenseful and it kind of keeps you reading. I think I read it in like 2 days. I picked it up and just kept going with it because it was so good. Next is a book I haven't actually finished yet, but it is Why We Broke Up by Daniel Handler. I am not that far into it. probably like 100 or so pages, but it is pretty good so far. It's definitely interesting. It's kind of like the 13 Reasons Why, where it's different pieces that pull the whole story together. So it's this girl named Minnie, and she is writing a letter to her now ex-boyfriend Ed, and she's writing this letter and she's putting it in a box, and in this box are a bunch of things from their relationships, like 2 bottle caps and, you know, some sugar, stolen sugar, and she tells the story behind each of these things, how they got to acquire them, and it also explains why they broke up. Okay, so the next few books I want to talk about, I don't actually own copies of, but they are great books. I absolutely love them. The first one is The Book Thief by Mark Zusak, I think? Zusak? Not really sure how to pronounce it, but it is an amazing book. I had to read it for a novel studies class, and it was under the category Book by a Minority Author, and it tells the story of this little girl named Liesl living in World War II Germany, and it tells the story of her life for quite a few years actually, and it's kind of long. I think it's over 500. I think it's over 500 pages, but it is a really good book. That is also actually a movie, and they did a fantastic job with the movie, so I recommend watching the movie and reading the book. Amazing read, and not like it's set in World War II, but it doesn't focus so much on the war, and it's good. Go read it. So obviously that is a very short list of books. I am a very avid reader. I love to read. I'm always reading if I can be. So these are just a few of my favorites. I have lots more. I can never pick a favorite book because I just love so many. So I hope you guys enjoy. Comment down below if you have read them, what you thought, some of your favorite books, or if you want to read any of the ones I suggested. So I'm going to try really hard to have a video up for you guys on Friday. I know that will be 2 this week, but I want to get on a Friday schedule because I don't have classes that day, so it's typically my free day. So hopefully I will see you guys later this week. Bye!